Your job isn't just to play well, it's to make sure that your part of the event runs without the planner having to think about it. Hey everybody, Happy New Year. Welcome to the Gig City Music Group podcast. My name is Matt Kelly. I'm the founder of Gig City Music Group, your platform for musical momentum. Whether you're a musician who's looking to level up your craft or to find more fulfillment in what you do, or to grow in your community of like-minded artists, or you're somebody who's planning an event or runs a restaurant or is looking to have live music as a way to elevate what you're doing for the people that you serve, we've got you covered here at Gig City Music Group. Wanted to take today a little bit different of a format for our podcast. We had a New Year's Eve celebration at the Marriott. At the time of this recording, it was a week ago. I just wanted to kind of go over some things that I learned or that were solidified for me as the person who was planning the event, that will help you as musicians know what event planners are looking for when they're hiring you. So we'll go into that in just a little bit. I want to start with just a small recap of the New Year's Eve celebration. So we were at the Marriott in downtown Chattanooga, and we had one of our pioneer artists off the top playing for that event. They are an 11-piece danced funk Tower of Power tribute band, and they blew the room away. They killed it. They are a wall of sound. And I think Off the Top was definitely the highlight of the event for everybody that I talked to. We had some amazing food from the Marriott. They catered some prime rib and some desserts, some deviled eggs, chicken, and vegetable skewers, and all this kind of stuff. Man, it was so good. It's so good. I actually wish I'd gotten to eat more of it. We had some people dancing. In fact, there was a family that came, and they told me specifically that they chose this party because they wanted to dance to the music that was going to be being played. So, and it was fun. It was a good celebration. There are definitely some things that I know now going into another event like this that I need to plan sooner for. But man, overall, it was a good event. It was an ability to highlight one of our amazing artists, like one of the best groups Chattanooga has to offer, seriously. To showcase that Gig City Music Group is not just a scrappy DIY solution to things, but actually is a professional, organized, high-end solution for musicians who need to up their craft, or event hosts that really want to elevate the experience for their guests. So I'm excited about that. Let's talk a little bit about some things that you as a musician can do to help event planners at the events that you're planning for. Let's talk about 10 things that you as a musician need to know when you're working with an event planner. Because that's an important thing, right? You need that intel, because otherwise you're going to come in, and if you're just a good musician, but you don't know these 10 things, then you're going to be confused why things fall flat. You're going to be confused why you don't get called back to things. You're going to be confused why you're getting ghosted, or why people seem stressed out, or why the energy doesn't seem right. And here's the thing, like, most people are probably going to be too polite to actually tell you like what they want from you or need from you in that moment if you're not delivering on it. So I want to give you the deets. I want to give you the intel so that you can step into environments like this and excel. And what's great about like knowing this is because, like, when it comes to private events, that's where the margin is, right? If you're playing at a restaurant or a bar or like an outside concert series or something like that, there's just typically not as much financial margin in those kinds of events. And so your pay is going to be kind of dismal. And I don't think that's bad. I think there's a place for that. And like, I definitely wouldn't want to rob those organizations of the like the margin that they've worked so hard to get from their guests. But it makes it difficult for a musician to have a sustainable income. So if you can hack these private events, that's where you're going to be able to actually like find some financial sustainability for yourself. Like for example, event planners for an event like this at a New Year's Eve, they often have like thousands of dollars to put toward entertainment, compared to a restaurant that might have a couple $100s. So anyway, let's talk about it. Here's number one. Event planners need musicians who reduce risk, not musicians who need managing, right? So one of the biggest takeaways that I got as the person hosting and planning this event was that I didn't even particularly care that much that every person involved was impressive or wowed the guests or anything like that. What I really cared about was that they didn't cause me extra headaches. Right? Because if there was a logistical thing that someone was supposed to take care of that didn't get taken care of, or if there was like a logistical oversight that I myself didn't see, then that threw off the flow of the night. And when it comes to private events, these event hosts are almost serving as the Wizard of Oz for their guests, right? There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of behind the scenes work. There's a lot of logistical things that go into an event like this. You don't want the guests to see all of that. What you want them to see is what feels like a flawless, seamless event, something that almost seems effortless for you, right? And anytime there's like a logistical thing that gets dropped or that wasn't anticipated, it's almost like taking a peek behind the curtain at the Wizard of Oz for the guests. And we don't want that. If you know that going in, then you can begin to anticipate some of the needs that these event planners have and think about how you can mitigate risk for them. So let's talk about some ways that you can mitigate risk as a musician. So if you're going to an event planner, here's what some of the things they're going to want to see. One, do you have insurance? That's a huge thing for event planners, right? Because if something happens, like somebody gets hurt, something gets damaged, something gets lost, whatever it is, then the last thing that the event planner wants is to figure out if they need to foot the bill or not. And helps you too, because you don't want to foot the bill in that case either. So if you have insurance, liability insurance, that's going to be really huge. Another thing is a contract, right? If you just say, hey, you can hire me, and we don't need all that written stuff, a handshake agreement, or you just have like a text that says, sure, how about $500 or something like that. Like something, the text is better than nothing, but if you come and say, okay, hey, here's all the things that we talked about. Here's what you said you needed. Here is our agreement. Then having that in writing reduces risk for the event planner, because one, they're either going to look at that agreement and see, okay, maybe it's missing this and this and this. So if you add that in there, then it's good. That's good information for you to have. Or they're going to say like, hey, no, it doesn't need any revisions. This is awesome. And then they can breathe knowing that you guys are understanding the needs that each of you have, right? So how you mitigate risk, insurance is great. Contracts are a must, right? Even if you know the person already, you should have a contract written out. A third thing that you can do to mitigate risk is to provide your own gear, get there early, communicate well, right? If they get the sense that you know what you're doing, that you have a system in place, and that you are confident that you can execute that system when you arrive at the event, that's going to be a load off of their shoulders, because they don't want to have to babysit you. They want to be able to hire you to come in and be responsible to do your thing. So number one, when you're a musician working with event planners, like, don't be someone they have to manage, mitigate risk for them. Here's the second hack for working with event planners. If you don't clearly own a responsibility, like setup, timing, transitions, then the planner has to carry it. And that is something that just adds so much stress on the planner's shoulders. So regardless of whether something was this person's responsibility or this person's responsibility or nobody's responsibility, whatever it is, if something goes wrong, as the person running the event, as the person hosting the event planner is the person to whom that falls. So make sure that you are very clear about what you're taking responsibility for and that those roles are defined so that you can go in and take care of that responsibility. And if there's a problem that does not have to be brought to the event planner, it's something that you can solve yourself, then you should solve it yourself. That's going to be a huge relief. Number 3, the third thing you need to know is that your job isn't just to play well. It's to make sure that your part of the event runs without the planner having to think about it. And that kind of goes back into what we were just saying. They don't want to have to manage you. So when you come, yes, put on a great show. Yes, play with excellence, 100%. But that's baseline. And even if you were to come and play below your baseline of excellence, but you were on time, you had all of your tech figured out, your audiovisual stuff was working, you communicated well, you're probably going to get hired again, right? That kind of professionalism, that kind of ownership over the responsibility that you have been given for the night is something that event planners are looking for. And they will take that 100% of the time over a flawless performance. All right, so we're going to take a quick break right here. When we get back, I have 7 more things that are going to help you snag these high ticket events and work with event planners in a way that makes them want to hire you again and again. Welcome back, everyone. We've already gone over 3 hacks for working with event planners so that you can get paid at these high ticket private events. First one was event planners need musicians who reduce risk, not musicians who need managing or babysitting. Number 2, if you don't clearly own a responsibility, like your setup or your timing or transitions, then the planner inevitably is the default person who has to carry that. Don't make them carry that. Number 3, your job isn't just to play well. Your job is to make sure that your part of the event runs without the planner having to think about it. All right, we're going to continue here. Number 4, clear communication before the event matters more than heroic problem solving during the event. So the more that you can front load a clear understanding of what your role is, and the more that you can communicate that you understand the needs of the event host, the more that that's going to help you going forward. Yes, when you have the ability to solve a problem in real time, you should solve it rather than letting it run rampant. But it is much better to have already solved it beforehand. There's a pastor that I know who says all the time, why would I face a temptation tomorrow that I have the ability to eliminate today? And we need to have that same mindset as musicians. Why would I solve a problem during the event that I have the ability to eliminate with clear communication beforehand? Right. So number 4 is clear communication before the event matters more than heroic problem solving during the event. Number 5, planners value musicians who anticipate their needs rather than waiting to be told what to do. Right? When you come into an event, yes, that person is hiring you to come and do this. And so they're going to have things that they need from you day of. But anytime that you can anticipate ahead of time what they need, which you're going to have some intel on if you communicate clearly ahead of time, then it's going to help them in the moment, because the day of the event, there are so many different logistical things that event host is having to account for and keep in their mind and make sure is running smoothly, that you don't want to add to their bandwidth if you don't have to, right? Because you're just going to stress them out. And regardless of how well you do, the more stressed out the planner is, the less likely they're going to be to hire you going forward, because people remember how you made them feel more than what you said to them or anything like that, right? So if you can make them feel, oh, I'm relieved because I didn't have to ask them to do anything. They just did it. They knew what I needed. then that's like practically a guarantee that the next time they need somebody, they're going to come to you. So as much as you can anticipate their needs as possible ahead of time and solve for those, you're going to make them feel really relieved. So number 5 is planners value musicians who anticipate their needs rather than waiting to be told what to do. Number 6, being on time, prepared, and self-directed does more for your reputation than being slightly better than everyone else musically. So same kind of theme here, but you want to be professional, right? When you come into an event like this and you play excellent, but all the transitions were just like slightly too long or just long enough to be awkward, or you get finished with the song, you're kind of looking around like, all right, hey, which one are we gonna play next, guys? I don't know. You want to play? Oh yeah, let's play that one. Like even that is enough to throw off the flow of an event in a way that makes you look unprofessional. And then even if you slay that next song, what they're going to remember is, man, they were like really like they had a lot of time in between songs, even if it was literally like 15 seconds in between. Like the perception of it being longer is going to make them feel uncomfortable about you, right? So make sure make sure you're on time, make sure you're prepared, make sure you're taking care of your stuff, right? Number 7 is along the same line. That's awkward silence, delayed transitions, unclear cues. They're stress multipliers for your event planners, right? Even if the music is great. Once again, like know ahead of time what songs you're going to play, how you're going to transition between them, who's taking solos where, who's leading what song, if it's like if there's like an MC for the night and it's not you, know when they're going to come up on stage to speak, know what they're going to speak about. Know these things, know which microphone they're going to use, right? Technically, maybe that's not your responsibility, but if you already have in your pocket, like, hey, know your MC is going to come up during this time and this microphone right here is the one that they're going to use. I'm going to make sure it's on for them. Oh my gosh, that's like way better than a slaying solo, right? You can play Mary Had a Little Lamb for a solo and do that, and they're going to love what you do. Right? Are you getting a theme here? Are you catching on to the theme? Any way that you can be autonomous and professional and anticipate needs and solve them before they even come to the attention of the person hosting the event is going to make you so valuable. And that's what they're paying for, even more than they're paying for entertainment, right? The reason that events like this are able to have a big enough budget to pay for musicians is not because they're paying for the talent, so to speak. They're often paying for the ability to have something that they don't have to keep on their plate, or to have a plate that they don't have to keep spinning themselves over and over and over again, right? If they can hire you and then not have to worry about it and know that you're going to deliver, that is so much more valuable than really great music. Also play great. That's not an excuse to come and do a crappy job playing, but it does matter more, right? Number 8, if a planner has to troubleshoot your tech, your timing, or your logistics, then you've pulled them away from their real job, which is orchestrating the event, right? If you come in and they have to figure out why your amp isn't working, or why your lights are screwing up, or if they have to figure out what microphone they need to use to MC, or they need to figure out any of those things that are technically your responsibility, then you're just pulling them away from their real job. An event planner, they're kind of like the conductor of an orchestra, and the event itself is like a symphony that's being performed. The event planner is not the person sitting there playing oboe. They're not the person setting up the percussion in the back or the chairs for everyone to sit in, right? They're not the person learning their part and playing it. They're the person who is providing instructions on who plays when, and cues so that people remember when to come in certain places when it's not clear. They're providing direction and musical expression. Like, hey, it's kind of unclear about how this line is supposed to play, so I want you to crescendo through this line, right? That's going to really elevate this part. Or, hey, like during this part, the trumpet has the melody, but then after 8 measures, the clarinets take over the melody. The orchestra director's job is not to go into each of those sections and play those things for them, right? They are crafting a performance, right? And ahead of time in rehearsals, they're talking about all these different details and they're running practice rounds on how to do it. But then during the actual performance, that director is using their body language, they're using their facial expressions, they're using their cues to actually orchestrate the event. And that's what an event planner does. And if you think about it that way, anytime you take the event planner, the orchestrator off of the podium and bring them into the orchestra, that's something that's not their job. And you're taking them away from the role that they're serving best in for this event. So don't take the orchestrator, don't take the director, don't take the conductor off of the podium and bring them into the orchestra. Play your part well, and help the people around you to understand their part and play it well. And you're going to have a good day. Number 9, we got 2 more. Professional musicians understand that reliability and role clarity are part of the performance. Don't come in demanding things, right? That is so annoying for anybody, right? If someone were to come into your house and they were your guest and they were to start saying like, hey, you really shouldn't be eating this stuff, right? I noticed that in your cabinets, yeah, that's so unhealthy for you. And they start rearranging your furniture and start saying like, hey, yeah, I really need this. I can only sleep with this kind of sheet or whatever, that like you would be super annoyed by that. And that's the same kind of vibe that you're giving if you come into an event and you start demanding things like, hey, show me where this is. Hey, I really need this. Hey, event planner, or if you grab like somebody else working at the event and have them start working to help you set up or something like that, right? That is no, just no, don't do that. You need to have that handled yourself. If you need extra help, bring extra help. Don't expect the person running the event or the people that they've brought to be people who are going to settle that up for you or be at your beck and call, right? Understand with clarity what your role is and what the hierarchy of authority is for that event, right? And you don't want to usurp that authority. Just like you wouldn't want someone coming into your home telling you what to do, you don't want to go into somebody else's event telling them what to do and demanding things from them, right? You are there to serve that event. You're there to serve the event planner, and you need to defer to their authority, even if something doesn't make sense to you. You can ask for clarity. You can ask questions. And if you do need help for something, like with something, and you literally can't do it yourself, then hey, bite the bullet, ask for help, but do it in a way that is understanding of your role and understanding of the authority structure that's there. And that authority structure is not there to be demeaning to anybody. It's there to provide clarity for whose responsibility is what. So don't come in and just run the show. Understand who's running the show, submit yourself to that, and serve the event, serve that planner, and everybody's going to have a better time. Honestly, you're going to enjoy yourself more too if you do that. All right, so that's number 9. Professional musicians understand that reliability and role clarity are part of the performance. Number 10, the musicians planners trust most are the ones who make the night feel smooth, not the ones who are impressive. Your goal when going into a private event should not be to impress anyone. That's like, or if it is a goal, it should be like way down on the priority list. You want to make things run smoothly. You want to serve the event, right? You're a servant. When you come into these places and you serve people well, and you see your role as the musician, as the artist, as the band or whatever, as being somebody who serves and elevates the experience for the guests and for the event planner and makes the night run smoothly, like that is huge. And that's just a general principle for life. When you serve people, you'll never go hungry, right? And the more you serve people, the more you will get back for yourself. Right? The first will be last and the last will be first. That's what scripture says, right? He who wishes to be the greatest in heaven must be a servant to all. And that's just a general life principle that's true, regardless of whether you believe the Bible or not. That's a life principle that's true, right? When you serve people, then you yourself will be served. And that's the goal of everything that we do as musicians, as artists. It's to use our craft, use our talent to make the world a better place, to make the moments that people experience together, where people gather together, something meaningful, where they can connect. And anytime that you draw away from that, you actually are not serving people the best that you could. So we want to try to come with that mindset. So number 10, the musicians that planners trust most are the ones who make the night feel smooth, not the ones who are the most impressive. I hope this was helpful for you. Let's go through all of these one more time. All right, I'm just going to read straight down the list. These are things that, as a musician, if you know this is helpful for working with an event planner, that you can come in and you can make some big bucks and play some really cool gigs knowing these things. All right. It's like a life hack here. Number 1, event planners need musicians who reduce risk, not musicians who need managing. Number 2, if you don't clearly own a responsibility, the planner inevitably has to carry it. Number 3, your job isn't to play well. It's to make sure that your part of the event runs without the planner having to think about it. Number 4, clear communication before the event matters more than heroic problem solving during the event. Number 5, planners value musicians who anticipate their needs rather than waiting to be told what to do. Number 6, being on time, prepared, and self-directed does more for your reputation than being slightly better than everyone else musically. Number 7, awkward silence, delayed transitions, or unclear cues are stress multipliers for planners, even if the music itself is great. Number 8, if a planner has to troubleshoot your tech, your timing, or your logistics, then you've pulled them away from their real job, which is orchestrating the whole event. Number 9, professional musicians understand that reliability and role clarity are part of the performance. And number 10, the musicians planners trust the most are the ones who make the night feel smooth, not the ones who are the most impressive. I hope these things were helpful for you. There are lots of things that go into making all 10 of those happen. And if you have questions about, how do I practically do one of these things? We do offer coaching for musicians who are wanting to start gigging more, who are wanting to up their craft, who are wanting to be a part of a growing community of musicians who are professional and trustworthy and collaborative. Reach out to us. You can send us an email at hello@chatgigs.com, and we would be happy to talk to you about learning this side of being a musician, how to work with event planners well, and what practical things you can do ahead of time to make yourself the most hireable musician you know. Till next time, have a great one, guys. Thanks.